If you could just tell me how and when did the idea for the book come to you?
Oh God, it's a long process. I think the book has been within me as long as my son has been born, I suppose. Because it started off with me thinking that I'm going to ace this whole motherhood thing, and then realizing after my child is born that I think there are a lot more questions than I have answers for, and I'm really not such a superwoman after all. And then going back to the table literally and kind of starting to understand what is it that I'm not getting answers for. Then realizing that it's not about knowing it from parenting, it's life in general, and then like kind of getting your answers from most unexpected sources, be it a TED talk, be it an article somewhere. So, and then kind of collecting those thoughts, writing them down in a little tattered notebook which you keep referring to and kind of going back to and stuff like that, and they are just observations that you keep writing down. And then friends and family were like, I think you should print a book, compile it into a book, and it started off from there. But I think the book became a lot more than just a compilation of certain observations. It became a lot more personal and so scary in that sense.
So,
Yeah.
what are the topics that you majorly deal with in the book? Because I do not have a copy to even
No, I'll
delve
give you
into.
a copy.
Yes.
But it is like the book says, it is the modern Gurukul. So Gurukul was something that we had during the Vedic times, and when there is all these various ways of education, and that when I started looking at it, and you realize that your child is going to go to a school and be educated in a certain way, and you know the right or the wrong only some 15 years down the line, and there is no reversing the decision.
Yes.
There's no turning back. And here there were different kinds of education, different kinds of thought processes out there. So what was it that I wanted for my child? So kind of to sit back and understand what I wanted for my child, to get into the zone. When I went back and I looked at what was there and what is there, I realized that there was something really lovely about the Gurukul system, in which what you taught the child was to be a lovely integral part of society, to bring him up to how would I say it, to be a wholesome individual. It was not just about knowing your mathematics and your astrology or your languages or your history, but it was about knowing music, it was about physical activity also, it was about dharma, it was about knowing so there was a lot of spiritual teaching without it being like a spiritual class, but they were imparting this at that age. So that means children can get it. You need to start teaching them these things or exposing them to it at an early age. And that's when I saw that. And you sent your child away, the teacher was everything in that system. I was not going to find that today. So how do I get those things that I really like about that system into today? In trying to adapt it to today is what is the modern Gurukul. So it's what I have tried to bring from certain old values, which I think are permanent in a certain way in this ever changing world, is how you use those core values and adapt them to today's world, is what modern Gurukul is all about.
Okay, so how has motherhood changed your outlook towards life? Could you tell a bit more about that?
I think there are a lot of times when I ask myself that question, that why am I a mother, and why did I actually have the child? I mean, I had a perfectly good life going. It was not like anybody was forcing me to have one. What was this need for me to have the child?
Yes.
And is it just that it's in my DNA? I'm hardwired to, every woman is like, I need to procreate. What is it? Why did I do it? But as I interact with my child more and more, and as my child grows up, I think it's not what I teach my child, it's what my child is teaching me. Because I think I'm evolving. And I think maybe I needed that. I needed to evolve. I needed to grow as a person, and that's what I think motherhood has done to me. So it's really not about, oh, I have had a child and I'm teaching my child this. I've had a child and my child is teaching me this. Is what it is all about, I feel.
Okay, so how do you maintain your work and personal life balance? Is there any?
It is a tightrope walk in that sense, and there are a few things that you have to give up. Sometimes you give up some time at home, sometimes you give up certain opportunities at work, which I think happens more often than the time at home, because the priority is the time at home.
Yes.
So yes, but when you give up also, there is enough still to go around to keep you busy. And eventually life is about choices and what choices you make, and you make the choices based on what your priorities are, and then you choose.
Do you also have any upcoming projects in the pipeline that you'd like
Oh
to
well,
talk about?
right now I'm coming up with 2 television shows. Mission Sapne should be getting on air towards the beginning of next year, I think. And there is India's Best Dramebaz. I think that's quite a bit
Okay.
plateful right now.
Okay,
And with
alright.
the book coming out, it's been a busy time.